So here I am again, Average Joe's. I am testing out some stuff, and there's a lot of growing pains. But today, I wanted to talk about the roaming. So if you are new to this channel, welcome. And I know I just recently got a big bump in subscribers thanks to Alan and some other shout outs. So thank you very much to everyone giving the shout outs. I love that the community supporting everyone and giving shout outs to smaller channels. It's really helpful. Um, I plan on trying to do some sort of shout out in the future, but for all those that are new, just a quick intro to me. First of all, I'm terrible at intros. For all my videos, half of them I just get right into it. So I mostly read and talk about books in the fantasy, sci-fi, mystery thrillers, and some nonfiction. I read one nonfiction a month, and I do a little bit of that. Mostly sci-fi and fantasy, and then mystery thrillers do find their way in. Mood readings sprinkled in somewhat. So another thing that I love to do is talk about Kindle Unlimited. I'm a big fan of Kindle Unlimited, and the book reviews that I do are only so far have only been ones that are on Kindle Unlimited and um, self-published type authors. So I really don't review the big name ones unless I'm like reflecting and ranting about it. But and one more thing, there is a link below in my description. It is not a buy me books link. This is a Amazon Kindle Unlimited book list, which is just ones that I've thrown on there that I want to read in the future. So if you have Kindle Unlimited, or if you're looking for, either self pubs or low visibility books, Kindle Unlimited books, just go there, check out those books, see if there's anything you like, and read them for yourself. It's not a get me books type of thing. Just making a list and sharing mine what I have been bookmarking in the past. That's what I'm doing today, and I'm going to talk about and review The Roaming. I've read the first two books in The Roaming, and The Roaming is essentially it's a zombie book. It's very simple, nothing special, crazy, or anything about it, and it's kind of nice in that way. It's both a pro and con because it's just a simple zombie book and what you would expect from a zombie apocalypse. Like if somebody were to tell you, hey, write a book about a zombie apocalypse, the zombie apocalypse is starting, and write a story about how it would go. And this is basically just what happens. There's nothing. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel of zombies or of an apocalypse or throw aliens into it or some sort of new ability. It's just traditional zombies. They're kind of slow, and they bite you. They infect you. You have to kill the brain. Nothing too special. But it is pretty nice because it's kind of like how I view this is kind of like a Walking Dead light. So the Walking Dead show and the comics is it starts with the zombie apocalypse and it follows this group, and then as the group goes along, they either pick up new people and other people die, and that's just kind of how it goes. I would say this is zombie apocalypse light, or this is Walking Dead light, because the characters aren't as fleshed out. The story isn't as robust, but you are still following this group of people, and a lot of people die, and it's kind of cool because what you think is a main predominant character might just die suddenly, might be killed with or on something stupid, and it's very realistic in that way of being a zombie apocalypse book they are because it's anybody can die. It doesn't matter what your story has. Somebody can die. Things can happen, and they run into issues. They experience like food shortages, medical issues, whether they need to stay in one spot and hunker down, or whether they need to travel and they have a goal to get somewhere and then stay there. Or there's always this constant debate. There's a power struggle with the hierarchy because people die in the hierarchy, and now there's like certain power struggles, and some people don't want to listen to them. So it's a very realistic view, I think, of how a zombie apocalypse could go if you were stuck in that situation. You have people wondering about their families far off, about where they were, where they came from. There's a little bit of character depth here and there. So it's very real. It's cool in that sense, and it's very simple. So it's a book that there's a series. The first two are on. They're all on Kindle Unlimited. I think there's three out. I don't know if it's going to be a trilogy or longer. I've read the first two, and it's something that you can just pick up and throw in. It's only like 270 pages. Simple, fast read, good palate cleanser if you just like, you know what? I'm reading all this high fantasy, all this really in-depth sci-fi. I just need something simple, something that's like cool zombie apocalypse. It's a world that I know, it takes place primarily, starts off in Pennsylvania and goes along the East Coast. It's like, okay, it's a book, it's a place that I know, zombies I know, all these things I know. Let's just watch this group and see chaos unfold, and watch this train wreck basically. So if you're looking for something like that, I think it fits that mold. It's very fantastic for it. Uh, any sort of apocalypse, dystopian feels. If you're in the mood for, I think this would scratch that itch. The characters aren't very strong. I kind of mentioned that before. They don't go super in depth. I mean, it's a short story, so not a short story, but like it's only 200. Each book's only 270 pages, but they do follow the characters on. So the longer they survive, the more you learn about them, the more depth they are. Um, there's only a couple of actual distinguishable characters. Other people, other side characters, they kind of fade into the background and mesh together. But there's some pretty good ones, especially as you get into the book two. They start to develop a lot more. So some of them can be a little shallow. Other ones you get a little more depth with it. There's definitely some normal human struggles that they go through, but it's yeah on the surface level it is just a zombie book. What's interesting about it is with all the zombie movies that have come out, books, video games. I think the zombie genre is pretty awesome. I really enjoy zombie genre, especially the video games. I've just been playing through Dying Light, and it's if you've ever been exposed to it, you've definitely wondered what it would be like, what you would do in a zombie apocalypse. And this is definitely one of those situations where you're thinking about that as they're going along, and the decisions that they make. There's all kinds of decisions where you're confronted with it in the book, and you see that this person make the decision, and you're thinking in your head, I would not have done that, or I totally would have done that, or what would I have done in this situation. So because you kind of have a bird's eye view of this group going through, there's not actual POVs. It's all, well, I guess, third person. I'm not really good on POVs, but you're following them, and every decision that gets made, you're wondering, okay, would I have done that? Would I not have done that? What would I have done in the situation? And then so going through, you're kind of judging them of what they're doing in a way, but not. So that's also entertaining for me because I always like to wonder like what it would be like for zombie apocalypse, what they would do, how they would act, what the situations they would get into. When people are just being super dumb and emotional, they get themselves killed, or vice versa. You have these very regimented people who survive, the survivalists, the gangs that come up out of it, these little side factions. So simple zombie apocalypse book that is entertaining, and I think is worth a read. It is on Kindle Unlimited. That's the whole point of it, or why I'm talking about it. So there's not a whole lot of traction on Goodreads, but I know the first three are out. Like I said, I'm not sure how many it's going to be. It seems like it could go on for a while, kind of like Walking Dead. You just kind of keep going on until I don't really know if there's ever been a conclusion to a zombie apocalypse. The closest thing is Shaun of the Dead, I guess, but the zombies were still around. So that's the roaming in a nutshell. And there's not a whole lot to talk about because that's the book. It's both good and bad. It's on the very on the surface level zombie apocalypse. I mean, I don't know how many times I have to say that, but that's what that is. So I would recommend checking this one out. I would say, as far as my rating system would go, recommendation, I would give it about. I'd probably give it a 7, especially because of it's so short and simple. Pacing, probably an 8. Honestly, their pacing is very very solid throughout. There's always something happening. There's always either, even when they get out of a hairy situation, they're scavenging. You're still like on edge because they're scavenging. You might just open a bathroom door and there's zombies in there. So the pacing is good, but it's not overwhelming either. It's not like always attacking, killing zombies or anything crazy like that. So, and overall, yeah. So I definitely give this a good solid 4 out of 5 stars, I guess, if you want to go with that route. But check it out, especially if you have Kindle Unlimited. Even if you don't, I think they're only like $2 on Kindle for that for those books. So yeah, go and check that out. And if you want to know any more of what I put out there, I do have books, or I do have reviews specifically for Kindle Unlimited, and talking about why is Kindle Unlimited so good for readers and for writers. I've had done a few videos on that. I need to do another one soon, but yeah, strong supporter of it. I've done a couple of two other book reviews on self-published Kindle Unlimited books as well. So feel free to check those out. I'll try and put the links down below. But that's all I have today for the roaming. And yeah, let me know what you think about zombie books. If you like these very low visibility book self-published reviews, let me know what you think about all that. And we will chat more down in the comments.